What is good, world? Elikata here. I am coming to you today with a little introduction into FL Studio. Show you how to basically just make a simple beat, kind of get you started in being able to actually utilize some of the things that it has. First thing we're going to talk about is our layout here. I do have two screens, so not everything is on this main screen. Normally you would get something that more looks like this. You're going to have a little more compact look here. But I do have the dual screen going on here. So if you notice, I can pull this out here. I got it all pulled out now. I'll usually have my mixer over on this end. And I'll have my playlist over here and get my channel rack right here. This is basically what you want to have up to start. You want your playlist, you want your channel rack, and you want your mixer at least somewhere. If you only have one screen, just keep it in back over here. So very first thing that you're going to want to do before you even touch anything, go up to options here. Alright, you're going to go into project general settings. This is where you're going to change the data folder. See this data folder here? You're going to put this to whatever you want that data folder to be. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my 2016 music Elikatta. I'm actually going to go ahead and make a new folder here, and we're going to go ahead and call this tut files. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one there. And it's going to ask if you want to save this project in there. You're going to go ahead and choose to save that. You're going to go ahead and choose to save that. So we're going to go tut1. It's going to be our FL file. So the reason why we're doing this is it's going to separate everything out into file systems. So everything that you do now on this project is all going to be brought out to this file system. So positive thing about that is when you get into years and years of stuff like I have, you end up definitely needing to have your stuff a little more organized than I've done so in the past. So I would definitely advise doing all of the file stuff before you ever even touch a project. So next thing we're going to do over here, we got our different selections of our browser. So right now we want to go over here into, this is the plugin database. Plugin database is going to be where we pick up any kind of VST effects or generators. VSTs are virtual synthesizers, so they're going to be what create sounds, or they also, the effects are the ones that basically give you the reverb or the echo effects, the delay, and things like that. So we are going to go into the generators because we want to generate a sound right now. So first sound we're going to generate, I think I'm going to go into installed here because I'm going to use a plugin that I enjoy using. You can use any kind of plugin, any kind of generators. They've got the synth specials here. Any kind of generators that you have to create sounds you can use, where it's not going to necessarily be specific here. So we are going to pick, let's do the Kontakt. Kontakt is a great plugin by Native Instruments. Alright, so this automatically put it out to the first track. It doesn't always do that. Sometimes you will have it on the master track. You're going to want to always have this tracked out. So since this is the first thing that we are doing here, and this is the very first sound, I'm going to place it on track 1. Over here, we're going to come over into the mixer side here. And this is the one that it's going to be coming from now. This is the, alright, in here we got our database of sounds as far as our plugin goes. Depending on what plugin you have, it's going to give you a different option of how you pick your sounds. So I'm not going to go into how to pick your sounds in different plugins. Go ahead and look at tutorials on all of that for whichever plugin that you're using. And let's hear what this gnarled synth sounds like. So if you press any key on your keyboard, if you do not have a MIDI controller, if you have this thing selected right here, it's going to allow you to use your keys on your keyboard to make sounds. Alright, so I don't really necessarily dig that sound, so we're going to go ahead and try another one. Let's go in more. Alright, we'll do this and add a, because of the type of plugin this is, I can layer on things. I'm going to go ahead and layer on some kind of a mallet instrument. Let's do alright. So we're going to go ahead and use that. We're going to open up our piano roll. So that's up right here. You're going to click this and this will pull up your piano roll. You're going to want to make sure that your instrument is selected here. When you have multiple instruments, they're all going to be pulled down right here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with an A minor chord. Always know your chords, know what that means. So an A minor, the reason why we're going to do that one is because it's a fairly easy chord. Anybody can do A minor. A minor is basically, so you play off of all those going from A. A is your bass, and you're going to work off that, work in different thirds and fifths. It's always good to jump around and, you know, kind of have some fun. So since this is going to be hip-hoppy and a little bit more of a lyrical style beat, we're going to go ahead and drop this tempo from 140. 140 is more of a dance, clubby kind of beat. So we're going to go ahead and go to maybe 98, somewhere between 92 and 112 is where you're going to want to be when you're doing a little more of a hip-hoppy, where you're going to be doing lyrics and stuff. It makes it a lot easier to flow to. You can get a lot more consistent freestyle to it. So alright, so let's go ahead and start with our first A note. What I'm going to do is, this is our velocity. I'm going to put the velocity all the way up because in hip hop, there's not a whole lot of velocity difference except for in mid notes. You want a lot of hard notes on the first drop beats and on the snare hits and things. Those are where you're going to have a lot of velocity to a lot of your notes. Since we don't have a drum beat yet, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the metronome. Metronome is going to give you a tick for your beat here, so you can kind of get an idea of where you're at and how it feels. So that's going to be right there. You're going to go ahead and do that A. We're going to just start with that A. It's going to make it easy, right? We're doing beginners here. So go A, and if you press spacebar, it's going, oh, so that's where I'm going to have to show you this too. Oh, okay, over here there's the song to pattern mode. So if you have it on song mode, what it's going to do is it's going to play the playlist. It's going to play whatever is over here on this playlist. Right now we don't got nothing on that playlist, so it's not going to play nothing. So we got to go over here to our piano roll, and we want to be on pattern 1. Like this is the pattern we're working off of. So we're going to want that to play on pattern mode. You see how it says song/pattern. We want to be on pattern mode. That's when that's activated there. So now if you notice, if I press spacebar, we're playing right on the pattern there. So It's going to go ahead and repeat every measure here. So you can actually keep that playing, and you can kind of add along. And we're just going to kind of play around, maybe do, you know, just whatever sounds good. So the reason why this one sounds good is because it's on the offbeat from this one. So you can notice how it's on the upbeat there. We for some reason the brain likes that, so go ahead and throw that there, and then we're gonna do just a one up, because there's always for some reason that almost like a sharp or a flat to the ending of a measure. So we're gonna go ahead and add that in right there, and now that's almost good enough. You could just run with that, but we're gonna go ahead and play a little more with it. Maybe do a little bit. Let's see here. So. All right. So what do y'all think? I think that works. So you're going to go ahead and start with that. It may sound simple, but that's what we're going for. Hip hop likes simple. So we're not going to go too crazy, because a lot of that's going to come from the lyrics. So you want something that's going to just hit hard with some bass. So we are going to go ahead and throw that into our playlist here. You can also name the pattern, you can name the track, right click, name all of this stuff. It is advisable for when you are getting into everything, because of how much time it would take to rename every pattern and all that stuff. I'm not going to get into that right now. You guys just do that on your own. Make sure to go here and rename these patterns and these tracks and colorize them and make them look pretty. That's what people like to see when they look for professionalism when hiring you or something. So inside this piano roll, there is the pattern one here that we have selected. It is selected inside of the playlist here. So that is what we are pasting. This little paintbrush makes it so you can click and hold and it drags it out. This little pencil makes it so you can't click and hold. If you click and hold, it drags like that. But it's single click, and it's kind of, it's just a little different style. So it depends on what you're doing at the time, what matters most. So we aren't going to put this many. We're just going to put 4 right now. So we're going to keep it at a smaller measure set here so that it kind of just repeats itself. So next thing that we are going to need to do is add us a little bit of bass. So again, you're going to pick whatever is your happy bass module. I'm going to use my New Era 808 and bass module. This thing is freaking awesome. So I'm going to take this and we're going to go ahead and pick something. So we're going to pick, I don't know, I don't have a kick yet either. So since we don't have a kick either, we're going to pick something that like kind of hits as it hits, So, well, like you'll see what I mean here. So it does more of like a, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put that over to in the track 2 there, so that it is over here on our mixer channel as on the 2 there. And we are going to, I'm just going to go ahead and keep that one. We're going to keep this quick. I'm not going to get too crazy into all that. So if you have questions, you can comment and I'll answer all your questions and whatnot. Go ahead and go to pattern 2. If you add your pattern 2 right there, what we are going to do this time is, instead of being into that pattern mode, we are switching it over into song mode so that it is playing from the song. and that is so that we can still have pattern 1 playing, but now we're going to work on pattern 2 too. Went ahead and added pattern 2 even though it is empty, so that as we add, you notice it adds right over here. So we got to remember we're keeping with chords, so our chord was A minor, so we are going to stick with an A minor, and we're going to hit an A. Maybe hit like a higher one. See, like maybe that. Now, if you notice, the bells go up right here. See how they went up? We're going to drop down. Okay, so we're actually going to have the snares hitting right here. That was my mistake. We're going to have snares hitting each spot right here. So we're going to pull this one out one more because we want to stay away from that snare. So we're just going to kind of play around for a second. So. Alright, so we'll keep that. Again, we're going to stay simple because there's a lot of stuff that we're going to play with outside of this that's going to be a lot of fun. So now that we got this, we're going to go ahead and quit the metronome, and we're going to go into another one. There's another way that you can add these generators and effects as long as they are in your quick picks, is going up here to add channel, and I'm going to go to my battery 4. Battery 4 is my baby. Now I'm going to put this over into 3, or actually I'm going to throw this into 10 because this is my drum track. I like to keep my drum track pretty far back compared to all of my other stuff. So just in case I create more instruments and things along the way, I like to just keep it way over on the side, and it's not really going to matter where it's at as long as you know where it's at. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick a random kit here. We're going to go to like a digital kit because we have more of a kind of housey hop or electronic hop sort of thing going here. So we're going to do into house. That'll work. How does this sound? So sure, why the hell not? So we're going to go ahead and add another channel 3, or another pattern. Go to pattern 3. And again, once again, we can be naming all these. We could go ahead and do drums and throw that like that so that we always know that this channel is the drum pattern and whatever. And we're going to go ahead and start on this one. Now this one, the drums are separated out into the keys. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start with a good, nice thick kick. So. you notice, I'm kind of hitting with the base at some spots and hitting outside of the base at some spots, so it gives it a little more depth. Alright, and main thing too is, remember, we're going to throw our snares right here, or claps, or whatever we're going to do. So we do not want kicks there. It's very rare that you're going to put a kick along with the snare, or with the snap. So we are going to go ahead and go with the clap, just because that is going to kind of sound good for this one. So go ahead and put them just right there like that on each one. You like the snare to be really predictable. Right, so we're going to go ahead and add them some more. Alright, and now you've got your first hip-hop beat that you can do whatever you want with. You can add some more shit like a hi-hat. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add a hi-hat. You like that? I do. So we're gonna just put it right here. I'm gonna add another track, pattern 4. That's where we're gonna add the hi-hat. Alright, so now one of the things that we're going to do here, and so you got your little main beat and whatnot. You can extend this out, you can start playing. That is basically the setup of a really general style beat. We can go into more depth as far as with the drums. You don't even have to change up the drums all the time. Everybody always is changing up drums and whatnot. I'm going to show you a little secret real quick. So we're going to go over to this mixer channel. The reason why you're putting all these in different channels, your drums are all playing right from this one channel right here, right? So if you go in here, we're going to go ahead and use Gross Beat. Gross Beat is a great plugin from ImageLine that gives you a lot of different options as far as drums go. We're going to use it really simply right now. We're just going to go ahead and right click up here on this box here. We're going to go to create an automation clip. What that does is this automation clip now controls this whole thing. So that's going to move around the choices depending on what we select here. So it'll make more sense once I start playing. So right now it's just on the regular empty, so it's not going to do anything. But what I'm going to want to do is towards the end here, say on this one, I'm going to want a difference in how it plays. So if you notice, now that I got these set up here, notice how I now have fills right there that I didn't make. Grossbeat just makes them. So, now we've got ourselves our complete little track here. So let's see what we just did. All right. And obviously you could go crazy with that now. We can, turn some of it into an intro and do all kinds of stuff. We're going to cut this one right now, though, and I want to thank you guys for tuning into this little tutorial here. I hope you guys learned a little bit and are able to get into FL Studio and actually make a beat. It's always fun to do so. So if you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below what they might be, and I might be able to help you out. So thank you for tuning into ElikattaTV. This is Elikatta. You have a wonderful evening.